Hello again, it's Mr. Pete, your YouTube shop teacher, and this video, and for that matter this video series, is really aimed at youngsters, probably ages 8 to 14. It's come to my attention that many children and young people do not know much about tools or even the names of the common tools, so I have decided to put together a series of videos on tool identification. And number one that we're watching right now is all about woodworking tools, and they're just the common hand tools, not power tools, that you might find in your dad or your grandpa's shop. These tools used to be used in junior high industrial art shops, but we do not have those classes anymore. So let's take a look at some of the common tools that we're going to cover in this video series for woodworking. And if it's successful, there'll be a series on metalworking tools, possibly one on mechanics tools, and finally one on machinist tools. And these are the tools that we're going to cover in woodworking tools. Now, I'm not going to show you how to use them. I'm just going to show you examples of each one of these and maybe talk a little bit about their purpose. Here's a quick look at the first 10 tools that we're going to cover in this woodworking tool identification video. And this is the second group of tools, numbers 11 through 20. Now let's get started. Probably the most important thing that you will do in the shop is to measure things. So item number one are measuring rules. For instance, this is a 2-foot Stanley bench rule. There's a metal rule. They come in all different lengths. A tape rule. A folding rule, sometimes called a zigzag rule. And here's an older type carpenter's rule. It also includes a little caliper, and it opens up to 12 inches long. That's item one. Item two is a very common tool in any shop. These are squares. This particular one is called a tri-square. This is a combination square. And here's another type of square. Usually they're sold in larger sizes, and they're called a framing square, used by carpenters. Tool number three is a dividers. Come in different sizes, and this is a compass. Now a compass has a point on one side and a pencil on the other. These tools need to be set in conjunction with the ruler, and then circles or arcs can be drawn or struck. Tool number four, these are marking gauges. Some are made of wood, some are made of metal. This one has a pencil point, this one has sharp points. And we can adjust this. There are built-in rulers, for instance, to 1 inch, and scribe a line parallel with the edge. This does the same thing, only it has sharp points. Might be used with hardwood or on metal. Number five are planes. These tools come in many different sizes and shapes. These are all Stanley planes, and they are used for smoothing wood. This is a very popular size, a number 5 Stanley. It comes with a metal handle so that it can't be broken in a school shop. Here's a much smaller one, same design and shape. That's a number 2 Stanley. And then this is called a block plane. Very low angle cutter, would be used to trim doors or across the grain. Planes. Item 6. These are files. Files are used to smooth wood or metal. Here's a rather coarse one, and we always use them in conjunction with the handle so we don't hurt our hands on the tang. A much coarser one is called a rasp. Notice that they have what appears to be individual teeth. And files come in any size and shape that you can imagine: square, round, flat, triangular. and they must be cleaned from time to time with a file cleaner or a file brush, sometimes called a file card. And this little point here can be used to clean materials that have become embedded in the teeth. Item 7 is a cabinet scraper, or simply called a scraper. This is made by Stanley. It's just a piece of tool steel, and to prepare them, a file is used to make the edge perfectly straight and flat, and then this tool is called a burnisher, and it is used in that manner to roll over the edge. We call that a wire edge, and then a scraper is used to smooth wood or remove glue, often using two hands and pressing very hard. It'll produce very tiny shavings. Item number 8 are hand saws or woodworking saws. You cannot saw metal with these, and as you may have guessed by now, many of the tools that I'm showing you are rather obsolete or have been replaced by power tools, but there are many kinds. This is called a coping saw. It is used to produce circles and curves and so on in relatively thin wood. It cuts on the backward stroke. This hand saw is available in many sizes and different kinds of teeth. This is a crosscut saw using to cut across the grain. They also sell them with coarser teeth that are called rip saws to saw with the grain. This is called a back saw because it has this stiffener on here, and that makes the saw very inflexible. This is group 9. Before we had battery-powered drills and electric drills, we had hand drills, and this little crank-type drill, these were sold in many different sizes, is used to drill small holes. This would be perfect for perhaps drilling a hole in the wall to hang a picture or something of that nature. This is called a brace, and a brace was used with auger bits or a big screwdriver bit in order to drive large screws. Item 10. These are drill bits or drills, and they are used to form holes in wood. A very old type is the auger bit. It has a screw on the end and can draw itself into the wood, and these were normally used with a brace, and you had great leverage using a brace. This is called a Forstner bit. It is used to drill holes with a flat bottom. Here's a very inexpensive type of drill. They come in all sizes to drill into wood. Most common that you're going to run into all the time are what we call twist drills. Group 11. These are called chisels. They can be used by hand like this or struck with a mallet, never a hard hammer. They come in various widths. This is a 1/4 inch narrow, 3/4. Those are flat or straight chisels. They come in curved type gouge chisels such as this as well, and much larger ones that are used on the lathes for turning wood. Very useful tools for setting locks and door parts. They can be bought in complete sets such as this, going from 1/4 up to 1.5 inches. Number 12, this is a group of hones or oil stones. Again, they come at every size and shape that you can imagine. This is sometimes called a bench stone or sharpening stone. Often they are fine on one side and coarser on the other side. Usually we use oil on them, although certain types use water. And this would be perfect for sharpening a chisel or a plane iron. This is called a slipstone. Notice that it's round here and round here, and that would be used for sharpening gouge type chisels. We can also use a bench stone such as this for sharpening our pocket knife. Number 13. is a group of hammers. Now hammers come in 100 different styles and shapes, but these are some that we would use in a wood shop typically. This is a claw hammer. We can hammer nails or pull nails with it, sometimes called a nail hammer. These are mallets of various types, and they can be made of rubber, plastic, or wood, and this is the type of tool that you should use probably in a smaller size in order to strike a chisel. Every household has hammers. Item number 14 are screwdrivers. They come again in a wide variety of sizes and shapes and different tips. This is a standard screwdriver with a straight blade, probably the most useful. They come in smaller sizes as well, such as this pocket screwdriver, and even smaller ones, which we call jeweler's screwdrivers or instrument screwdrivers. Phillips screwdrivers, which are kind of an X or a cross shape. Now here is a screwdriver that was widely used years ago before battery-powered drills, and we can drive screws, tighten or loosen. It has a spiral here. It was called a Yankee screwdriver. And here's a handy screwdriver because you only need one of these in the kitchen drawer. Has a straight tip. You can reverse it for Phillips, and you can reverse the tip here as well. Group number 15 are clamps of various types for woodworking, and they could be used for metalworking. The most common, of course, would be a C clamp because it looks like the letter C, or is it a G? From medium size, very large ones, to this smaller size. Pinch type clamps in different sizes, very useful. And this is a clamp used for longer work. They come with a beam that allows you to adjust this very quickly for long boards or wide boards. And this is called a hand screw. They still make these, although they are kind of archaic. Perfect for woodworking though. These are clamps. Item 16, these are called awls. That's A-W-L, or scratch awls. They have a sharp point on them. They may come with a wood or a plastic handle. They can be used to scribe. For instance, if you didn't want to use a pencil, you put your square on the wood like that, and you could easily scribe a very accurate line, more accurate than a pencil. They can also be used to punch holes or to start screws in conjunction with a mallet. Number 17, these are pliers. They come in an infinite variety of sizes and styles and types. The most common is called a combination pliers. There are channel locks, pump pliers, long nose pliers, parallel jaw pliers, needle nose pliers with a bent point, and many more. Item number 18, these are wrenches. Wrenches aren't really a woodworking tool, but they may be used in conjunction with adjusting or repairing various tools in a wood shop. That's an open end wrench. A combination wrench is a open end on one end and a box end on the other. Here's a box on both ends. You know what an adjustable wrench is, sometimes called a crescent wrench. And here's a socket wrench with a open end wrench on the other side. Item 19 is a bench vise or woodworking vise. Again, many different styles. Here is a smaller one that clamps onto the bench and is used to tighten down your work so that you can plane it or file it or whatever your operation is. Notice there are never sharp jaws on a woodworking vise like there are on a metalworking vise. Item 20 is a very common item. Every household has many of them, and these are useful in the wood shop. This was traditionally the kind of knife that was used in industrial art shops. It's called a sloyd knife. Looks almost like a paring knife. Here's the common type of knife that every carpenter carries. A more precision type of knife. Here's an X-Acto with a more or less a chisel blade, and here is a complete set of smaller X-Acto knives, and look at all the different blades that are available for the X-Acto kit. Well, that concludes the presentation and discussion on 20 different tools. Are you ready for a quiz? And then you can grade yourself at the very end. So let's get on with the quiz. Get out a paper and a pencil. Okay, if you are participating in the quiz, get your pencil and paper ready. What is item 1? And you can pause your video slightly if you need to think. Write down the answer. Here's number 2. What is this group of common tools? This is question 3. What are these 2 tools called? This is question number 4. What are these 2 tools called? Question 5. What are these very common woodworking tools called? Question 6. What is this group of tools called? Question 7. What are these 2 tools called? Question 8. What are these tools called? Question 9. What are these tools called? This is question 10. What are these tools called? This is question 11. What are these common cutting tools called? This is question number 12. What are these items called? Here's an easy one for you, number 13. What are these tools called? Here's another easy one, number 14. What are these tools named? Question 15. What is the name of this group of tools? Here's question 16. What are these tools called? Question 17. What is the name of this group of tools? Question 18. What are these tools called? Question 19. What is this item called? And stand by for a still picture of a similar item but slightly different, same purpose. And here's the last item, item 20, which is a very easy giveaway item. Everyone has these in their home. Okay, and now it's time to grade yourself. Here are the answers to the quiz. Go through and check the ones that you have wrong. And here is the grading scale. I hope you did well. I hope everyone got an A. You probably did. There were some pretty easy ones here. Now this is Mr. Pete saying I hope you enjoyed this type of video. If you're interested in this, be sure and give me a thumbs up and a favorable comment, and I will probably do more of these for metalworking and other trades as well. Stand by for some still pictures at the end. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.